Hello, loving greetings. I'm Rajashree Maa, and this is another episode of The Wisening Way of Kali-Ki Reiki. Kali-Ki Reiki is a new lineage inspired by the divine feminine and meant to bring healing energy into each one of us, into our planet at this very critical time, and for each of us to become transmitters of this energy of love, of peace that we call the love force. So, a couple of concepts that are really basic to Kali-Ki Reiki, and actually in a certain way, they're not concepts at all, they're experiences, but they're experiences that we need to give a name to. Concepts are mental things. What I'm talking about now are experiences of the heart. And so these two terms that we use, love force and limitless love, are very important to understanding how Kali-Ki Reiki can help us to heal, become whole, and to wisen into our true knowing of who and what we all are. So if you know Reiki at all, you know it's often translated as universal life force. But in Kali-Ki Reiki, we we actually use the word love force in place of life force. And this love force is the universal energy of all. And yet we're claiming that that universal energy, that Reiki life force energy, is the energy of love. And so we talk about the love force within us, how that energy gets out of balance, and we need to bring it back into wholeness, into harmony. And that's what will heal body, mind, heart, and soul. And then we also talk about the love force as Divine Mother's manifestation and projection of that which is, if you will, the universal substrate of all, the ultimate beingness, the limitless, vast unity, the limitless, vast spaciousness of pure being, of pure consciousness, of pure awareness. So you might think of that substrate of everything as God. That's one word that we have given. But God often implies a personal being, a being, not just beingness. In yoga, there's a word that's used, it's called Brahman. The Brahman is the substrate of all, it's pure awareness, it's pure beingness. And actually it can't be defined. So whenever we use these words, right, then we're conceptualizing and we're not necessarily experiencing that limitless, vast boundlessness that cannot be contained, that has no actual characteristics. It's not masculine, it's not feminine, it's not big, it's not small, and yet it is all. Okay? So what we use to describe this indescribable is the term limitless love. This is the vastness, the wholeness, the unity that underlies every different individual manifestation of itself, right? That is brought through by the love force. So I don't want to get too philosophical here. So I'm going to invite you to take a moment now and close your eyes and take a couple of nice, slow, deep breaths. And first become aware of your physical body, your physical form. Your eyes are closed, so you're not looking at your physical body, but you have sensation. Perhaps you can feel your hands placed on your knees or on the table, wherever your hands are placed. You can feel your legs, you can feel your feet on the floor. If you're seated, you can feel your sits bones on the chair. If you're lying down, you can feel your back and the full extent of your body. And then you have some kind of idea, right, of the form of your body, your figure. So again, your eyes are closed and you have a sense of this container that is your physical form. And yet, if you think about or try to tune into that which is aware of the form of this container, yeah, your mind can tell you, well, that's my brain. That's my brain that's aware of this. This is my sensations of touch, of hearing. And yet, you can't see that brain. You can't actually even physically feel that brain. But the you that has an awareness of the physical form, right? It doesn't feel like that's contained within this organ that's inside of the head, does it? As a matter of fact, for most of us, once we've become aware of this structure of our form, it's almost like when your eyes are closed, it's like a silhouette you see in shadow, if you will. Maybe you see it differently. Maybe you see colors. I tend to see it in shadow, gray, black, white, a little bit. But you may see color. You might have a mental picture of what your physical form looks like. But that's not exactly what we're going for here. I'm inviting you to feel into yourself inside of this body. But if you notice, whatever this self is, whatever this beingness that is trying to feel itself is, it doesn't actually feel like it is contained by that form called the body, does it? It actually feels quite vast. There's a yogic teaching about the jar and the jar space. So just for a moment, imagine your body was like a clay jar. It could be a very beautiful pottery piece, right? And that you yourself is contained within this jar. And you're actually just like space, aren't you? It's like the space of you may be contained in this jar. But imagine if I came and I tapped on the jar in just the right place and it all crumbled, right? Well, would you crumble? No, you would still be there. You wouldn't need the form of the jar. to experience yourself. As a matter of fact, you might feel yourself as quite a bit larger or more vast than that jar. Just notice what you're feeling. Let it be, whatever you're noticing. That vastness that is you, that is not limited by the physical container, the temple that holds you or seems to hold you, but does not bind you. Actually, isn't it vast? Isn't this you? Doesn't it feel like it would expand forever? Especially if the container were suddenly shattered. Some feel like this is a metaphor for what happens at death. The body no longer contains or is associated with the soul self. And the soul self merges into the great self, into the unity, into the one. This is actually a description of what can happen in deep meditation, in what we call the samadhi state, where there is only beingness and no form. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and open the eyes again. Yeah, how was that? How is that? Now, you might now be looking at my form on the screen, or maybe just look around you and you see all kinds of forms around you, and they're solid structures, right? And yet, the you that's seeing them is not this solid structure of the body. And you just tuned into the vastness of being, which, by the way, the vastness of your being and the vastness of my being are actually no different. That vastness, that substrate, that limitlessness, that is the underlying oneness or unity of all. That is limitless love. Now, some people might not agree that at the basis of everything is love. Our world is often not a very loving world, so it's kind of like, well, if the source is pure love, then why are we as manifestations of the energy of that love, the love force, why are we not living in a peaceful, loving world? Well, there's a mystery there, right? I can't pretend to answer that question fully. However, when we understand that at the source of everything is love, it does become easier to manifest that, to project that, to transmit it. And that's what we do in Reiki healing. That's what we do when we're simply involved in acts of loving kindness. And when we do those things and we are being that love force, others are experiencing it. And what does that do? It actually awakens or activates the same energy in them. They feel your love because they are that love themselves. We can only feel what we recognize, right? So when someone offers kindness, care, compassion to you, your feeling of being cared for, of being nurtured, of being understood and seen, right, is a reflection of what's being projected to you. All of this is this vast ocean, if you will, this limitless ocean of the energy of love. Now, of course, we all know we get into these forms and we get protective of this body and we get protective of all the things around us that are ours and all the people around us who are ours. And we can start to get angry and make demands, or we can feel helpless and hopeless, all those things, right? That's part of the condition of being human within a body and identifying with the body and the mind and the egoic self as that's all there is. So when we do practices that bring us in touch, not just with our own personal love, our love of this and our love for them and our connections, which are all amazingly wonderful. But when we get in touch with love as the source, then we're operating from a different platform, a different level. The great Sufi poet, Rumi, said, "Love is not an emotion. Love is existence. Love is pure beingness, and it is vast, boundless, and limitless." And ultimately, it is all there is, even though all kinds of things are manifested within our physical world. Yeah. So I'd like to kind of take this a little further in terms of the ocean, the oceanic vastness of being, of limitless love, and give you another way of experiencing the vastness beyond body. And at the same time, the vastness contains body, so we honor body. We honor the forms. Yeah. So I'm going to read to you a guided meditation from my book, May the Loveforce Be With You. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes again, if you can. We call this the sea turtle meditation. And here you get to be in the ocean. So first of all, where we might say that limitless love is as vast as the ocean, we have to remember that even an ocean has a bottom and has sides. So it doesn't fully apply, right? But mostly our experience of being in ocean is that it is limitless. It is vast. We might say as vast as sky. And of course, our sky has different layers, different spheres. And beyond sky, of course, is space, which, as far as we know, is limitless, is truly infinite. But for right now, just take some nice, deep, refreshing breaths. And imagine yourself as a great sea turtle, old and wise. See yourself floating and swimming in a quiet cove of the ocean. Maybe you're tasting the sweet grasses that grow near the surface, enjoying a jellyfish as it floats your way, filling yourself with all you need to eat. Then you swim a little away from the shore. You take a long, deep breath and dive to the sea floor. Reaching bottom, you wedge under a protective rock and comfortably nestle into the sand. As you rest here, the water envelops you like a soft, warm cloak. The one full breath you took before your dive provides all the air you need, and soon you fall into a deep, deep rest. You notice that you remain very aware even as you experience a restlessness beyond sleep. Virtually no sunlight can penetrate these depths, and you're resting in a peaceful darkness with eyes closed. Still, you experience a soft illumination within you and all around you. The sand beneath you and the water around you dissolve into that gentle luminescence, that soft light seen within. You're resting in complete silence, complete stillness. Even as the water embraces you, there's no more awareness of body, of your shell, or the surroundings. Unbounded, you and the ocean that holds you are one being, one light, one whole. What you are is limitless, vast, not sea turtle, not person, not ocean. Only the light of pure awareness, limitless love. After some immeasurable time of resting like this, a slight pulsation or movement arises within the stillness. There's no sense of this pulsation coming from anywhere but the stillness itself. A vibration within the stillness, an impulse of awareness arising like a wave out of the ocean of consciousness. One wave of awareness seems to bring forth another and another until once again you do become aware of your body and your shell. Now there's an impulse to breathe. You move your limbs and feel the force of them against the water, propelling your body to the surface. Here, you take a breath. As the surface light shines down on your solid shell and is reflected on the waves all around you, you know yourself as sea turtle once again. And please take a breath and know yourself as human being once again. So we too can dip into that vast ocean of pure awareness, of pure, limitless love. And it's the love force, the impulses that arise out of the stillness that brings us back into our consciousness, our awareness of individuality, of self-identity. But the beauty is that with just a little time, attention, and breath, we can always return to the vastness within, to the limitless love, because that is the source of what we are, and it is our true nature. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Many blessings.